Hola, Mina-san. Welcome back for another round of manga reading or reading manga or One Piece, whatever you want to do it. I hope y'all are having a good time. Um, yeah, manga's back. Let's read. Manga is back. One Piece. This was chapter 4. The Great Captain Morgan. Uh, it'll be great to get in on this. Everything is going good so far on the YouTubes, but I think for today's show, before I begin, I should at the very least get you all up to speed here. A few rules and caveats. I'm still working on the logistical stuff, just so you know. But I need to get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? This week, I'm only covering chapter 4, one chapter, but I'm gonna do two chapters a week for One Piece, starting next week, moving forward, because I want to synchronize with evens. You know, saying 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And they are gonna get posted on YouTube, two chapters at a time. So it's probably gonna be pretty long videos, but yeah. I'm not gonna separate them or anything. They're gonna I'm just gonna slap them together, uh, so that way I can have room on the other days to cover other manga that I'm willing to expand to. Now, I gotta set some ground rules here at the very least until I get the logistics done. Yeah, just move that over there so you can see Monkey D. Luffy a little clearer. Very simple enough. Very simple enough. I'm only gonna be focusing on manga that has an anime release, like One Piece, say Doctor Stone, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, that kind of stuff. If it doesn't have an anime release, I'm not covering it. Um, I'm not gonna cover that. So yeah, it's so that way. Well, because they're the popular ones, you know, they're the well-known ones. So until the anime series is made of them, yeah, you're not gonna get to see your favorite manga get covered, and it's just a little courtesy thing on my part here, you know, saying because content creators, these mangaka, they work very hard, but they're also trying very hard to get their manga creations to become like this, and not all of them can do that. And I do encourage all of you to support the mangaka out there, all of them, especially those that that don't get the break and have this. This is merchandising, and there's a lot of manga out there and a lot of mangaka who have not achieved merchandising, or an anime series or an anime movie or any of that stuff. That's what they're striving for. And so I'm not gonna cover any manga that doesn't have this type of success, um, because they're working very hard, and I mean really very hard. Every time I hear stories about how they operate, how they have to get teams, how they have to deal with editorial when they have to wake up, and so on. It's like, yeah, if their story is really that solid, then yeah, this is what they're trying to achieve here, and we should try and we should really engage due diligence and try and support the mangaka and support their manga so they can pull this off. And we get to have these things as fans of manga, as fans of manga and so on. you know so that's how it's gonna be. The other thing is that I'll probably be operating on rotations pending on the situation. Like for example, um, Chainsaw Man. Uh, I'm just to be clear on with Chainsaw Man. I'm on book 15 of the Japanese language one, so I'm way ahead of you guys. Well, actually, book 14. Sorry. Let me rewind down. I'm on book 14. I had book 15, but I got book 14 of Japanese language Chainsaw Man. So I'm very, very, very far ahead of all of you. But the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Um, I think I'm going to be covering um, probably one season. You know, the manga equivalent of one season for a certain manga. Like for example, Chainsaw Man, because it looks like it's going to be an ongoing series. So once I finish covering up that season one equivalent of manga chapters, then I'm gonna jump into another series. It's got to be understood. It has to be understood greatly that there's a lot of long running manga. One Piece being one of them, but we're talking about like say Berserk, and sadly, Miura-san had passed away. So, we're covering how many volumes? What 30 plus volumes of Berserk? That's not even going to have an end. It's going to take years. Like for me to get to 1100, which just got released now. Chapter 1100 is released right now on Viz.com. That's going to take years. And I'm sure a lot of you would like to see me cover other manga and not spend the next 20 years trying to catch up just to get to 1100, only to find out there's another 1100 of One Piece. Go, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna be operating on rotations. If I can pull off the manga equivalent of a anime season and then jump over to another season, to another anime, to another not anime manga, jump to another manga and cover that until like the new season, like say Chainsaw Man. If I do the season one equivalent, then jump over to another one instead of continuing on because I know it's still ongoing. The manga English language, is past season one, but season two anime is not out yet. And I don't want to. And I know there's a lot of anime onlys out there who might be interested in this. I don't know. But my point is that I gotta make sure I can keep things fresh here, and cover other manga stories and such. And so some of them I might just uh, go into intervals, either 12 chapter or 24 chapter intervals, depending on their length. If it's a completed series, then it'll depend on how long the series is and how much I could pull off. Say before everyone gets exhausted, all of you get exhausted and be like, I want to see another manga. Like, for example, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Kimetsu no Yaiba, the whole entire series is done. The whole entire series is done, and if you're interested in me covering it, so then, yeah. I don't want to get too far. Point is that I don't want to get too far ahead, but I also want to make sure I can cover, other manga. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. The only thing that's not going to ever go out of rotation is One Piece. We're talking 1,100. I'm committed to it. I'm committed to it unless something extraordinary and prioritizing happens. That One Piece will have to get stopped. Something significant, something big. I know I'm taking a long time talking here, but I'm trying to just walk all the way through here on my rules here. Another rule also is that I'm capping the age rating limit to 15. I do not want disgusting stuff on here. there's the YouTube. Saying YouTube's got their term of service, and that applies to manga as well, and whatever visuals that's pertained on there. So manga gets away with a lot of stuff in Japan when it comes to fan service. So I have to be very diligent with the curation. If you guys want this channel to keep going, this YouTube writing channel to keep going, Coqui-san writing, because if I get knocked out, that's it. So yeah, I figured that the age rating should be 15 and under, and that should be able to do it. Primarily shonen will be the ones covered, but shonen manga for the most part will be covered. But I won't hesitate to branch out in others. But don't expect to see your hardcore stuff on here. Some of your most hardcore stuff. If it's gonna jeopardize, if it's gonna violate the term of service, you know what I mean. You guys, for the viewers who read the first 3 chapters out there, you know, you guys are having fun, and I want to make sure you all have fun, and I don't want to risk you guys losing fun because there's some manga out there that was inappropriate for YouTube's guidelines, and that's it. This is a fun channel for all of you. We're gonna have a lot of fun here, and I look forward to entertaining all of you, and thank you all for that opportunity to be able to do this. I'm very confident. I think this is gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be fun. I mean, many of you already had fun. Those of you who watched so far, and welcome back. Most definitely, all of you, welcome back, for this little venture. It's gonna be a fun time. As Tom Servo said in MST3K, it's a fabulous, funny freak out. One last thing, I might ad lib. If something looks interesting, if I come across something that's interesting, I also got one more thing to cover. How you say? If there's something interesting that I'll do, I'll probably ad lib and throw a little statement on there. That's, you know, who knows where that might go, the ad libbing. And finally, one last thing. I'm right now I'm live streaming. I'm doing One Piece as a live stream. Hence why you see this chat room here. And hence why you see this chat room. The thing is that once I post up on YouTube these videos, they are going to get watermarked. I will be watermarking over the images as a precaution. It's not 100% guaranteed that YouTube won't incur something, but I will be watermarking the manga images. Some of them might be opaque. Some of them will be a hard block, hard block colored color. But I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But I did figure out how to at least slap a watermark over the manga images. So that's the way it's going to have to be in order to ensure that there'll be postings on YouTube at the very least. I don't know how much YouTube's gonna impact those algorithms, but if you really love everything I'm doing, I need that kind of support. You know, saying that understanding support. All right. So make sure to comment, like, and subscribe always. And we need to get ready for Chapter 4. What you've all come here. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for understanding the rules here on the channel, because I really do want this to work, and I know you guys want this to work. And if we work together, we'll have some of the greatest time ever. I know it might seem like a little weird for all of you, but yeah, I mean, let's be real here. YouTube, if this was like 20 years in the past, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But so much has changed since YouTube came out the past 20 years. These type of conversations happen. It's just very disappointing. It's very disappointing. So thank you all for your support and for the opportunity to entertain all of you. So without further ado, let us begin. All right, everybody. Here's One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 4, the Great Captain Morgan. The crowd stood out in the street with their mouths agape. A collective gasp filled the air, and the crowd spoke. He really did it! He punched the captain's son. Captain Morgan will be furious. Out in the middle of the street, with his straw hat on the floor, Luffy was being restrained by Kobe, who was shivering in a panic, as Helmeppo sat on the ground, nursing his wounds, and his guards tending to him. Luffy, stop! Are you trying to pick a fight with the whole Navy? Kobe said, continuing to shiver in Luffy's arms. No, scum is scum, no matter who it is, who his father is. No. Oh, Helmeppo moaned. You hit me. You actually hit me. No one has ever hit me. Not even Daddy. I'm Captain Morgan's beloved son, Helmeppo screamed. I'm telling Daddy on you. To which the crowd screamed and let out a collective gasp. And Luffy continued to pull himself free from Kobe as Kobe used all his strength to hold him back. Luffy said, "Don't run crying to your papa. Face me like a man." Luffy, Kobe said, "Please stop." Helmeppo looked back as he was propped up by his guards and walking away. You'll die begging for mercy. You're a walking corpse. Father will kill you. The trio ran off as Colby watched on, and Luffy put his hat back on his head. He's not worth hitting. He's a wuss. You bugger pants. I heard that. Kobe whined. Now you've done it. You're a great big brother, the little girl said. I feel a lot better now. Aha! Luffy crossed his arms with a big smile on his face. Then I wish I'd give him a few more whacks for you. Rika! The young woman said. Get over here! Like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. You shouldn't be talking to that stranger. Stranger? I'm a fun guy. If you think you're his friend, they'll kill you too. Oh, I didn't even think about that. But Mommy, he's a good man. And Zolo, he's a good... What are you saying? You didn't go to the parade ground, did you? No. Oh, you're gonna get spanked for that. Alright, let's get inside. I got the Switch ready for you. Hey, have fun with the Switch. I don't think it's that kind of Switch, Luffy. Luffy waved as the door closed. They won't let you get away from this. Kobe screamed. And Captain Morgan has the whole Navy behind him, and he's full of wrath. Yeah. Luffy walked away. Whatever. I need to talk to Zolo. Back at the naval fortress, the birds fly into the sky and the clouds move along. A mysterious man in the shadows took a long puff of his cigarette. He sat in his chair behind the desk, staring out at the window. And he only had one thing in mind. I'm so great. Standing far across the office stood a Marine. with the man with a shirt saying Marine and a cap on his head. Yes, sir. You certainly are, sir. You're the great Captain Morgan, sir. Your rum is great, sir. Then why all the tributes for the peasants? The townsfolk. Oh, wait, I forgot. He's the one with the jaw, right? I forgot. He's the one with the jaw, right? Yeah. Mm. Oh, well, I'll just keep going with that. Everybody's gonna get that voice. Getting smaller. Yes, sir. Regarding your tributes, said the man with the marine cap on his head. I believe the townspeople are too poor to raise. It's not a question of how much they could pay. Oh, yes. Okay, now I know what I could do. It's not a question of how much they could pay. It's a question of their respect for me. Daddy! What's wrong, Helmeppo? Why the commotion? Helmeppo slammed the door open and stood wiping the sweat off his brow with anger in his face. I want you to kill someone for me. Meanwhile, back at the parade, as the clouds continue once more flowing across the wind, Luffy just casually walked right towards Zolo with a simple little word. Hey. Zolo responds, You again. If this is about me joining your pirate crew, my answer is still no. Hey. Luffy stood right directly in front of his face. Call me Luffy. I'll untie you if you join my pirate crew, okay? Now listen, boy. Zolo lifted his head up with blood dripping off his face. I've got my own mission, he said, and it doesn't involve becoming a stinking pirate. Dude, you're too good to be a pirate. Nah, Luffy said. You a bounty hunter, who everyone thinks is some sort of demon. I don't care what people think. Zolo licked off a sliver of his blood. I live by my own code. I've never done anything I regret, and I don't intend to in the future. Which is why I'll never be a pirate. Sorry, but I made up my mind. I'm shanghaiing you. You're joining my crowd. You're my crew, man. I don't care what you've decided. Zolo screamed with sharp, shark-like teeth. I heard you can use a sword. Luffy crossed his arms. If I wasn't tied up, I'd show you. So, where are your swords now? They took them from me, the captain's idiot son. Next to my life, those swords are my dearest treasures. Luffy put his hands on his hip. Treasures, huh? Too bad they took them. Hey, I know. Luffy pointed right at Zolo, making him even angrier. I'll get your swords from that idiot son. What? Then, if you want your swords back, you'll have to join my crew, you little rat. Zolo stretched his neck out, trying every which way to bite his arm off. Hey, come back here. Zolo looked as Luffy ran off. See you soon. As Luffy jumped over the fence, Zolo had this in mind. He's going into the fortress. That's one dumb pirate. Meanwhile, at the fortress, everyone stood at the top of the roof where cannons were sprawled across the edge. Everyone stood at attention as Helmeppo spoke and addressed the whole entire crew. Okay, steady, stand it up. Father, why aren't you hunting the brigand who hit me? Said Helmeppo, pointing directly at his wide open gaped mouth with the mysterious ball in between his teeth. Even you never laid a hand on my lovely yet masculine face before. Do you understand why I've never hit you? Because I'm your beloved. I'll tell you why.
It's because you're an idiot son who's not even worth hitting.
His loud scream hit Helmeppo and sent him flying across the entire roof. "Ah," said Helmeppo.
Why should I fight your battles? You're big enough to wipe your own bottom.
Naval Captain Axe Hand Morgan spoke. With a large, sharp axe attached to his arm, the wood wedged deep and lodged through his arm, sticking out of his elbow. A long trench coat and a mask underneath his face, short hair. He stood tall, very tall, with one strong puff of his cigar.
I don't mind if you use my status, but I only lay hands on people who defy me. Don't fool yourself. You're not the Great One. I am the Great One. I am the Great One.
Captain Morgan leaned closer into his son's face and blew a puff of smoke into his eyes. He released his son, dropping him onto the ground, began to walk away.
I heard a little mouse stuck into my parade ground.
The little girl, I dealt with her.
So you killed her.
Captain Morgan looked back with another puff of smoke. What? No. She was just a little girl and, Helmeppo quickly waved his arms in fear. She didn't even know what she was doing.
You find her and kill her.
Huh?
Child or not, anyone who defies me must suffer the penalty.
But, Captain, she's just a little girl, the Marine said, with fear in his face. I wouldn't obey such a cruel order.
Oh, wouldn't you? You are a lieutenant in the Navy, aren't you? And I, a captain, am your superior officer, am I not?
Yes, sir, said the lieutenant as Captain Morgan raised his axe at him.
Then you are duty bound to obey me. If I say kill her, then you will kill her.
Lieutenant sweat at that whole prospect of killing a child. Won't murder a little girl.
Mutiny!
And with one swing of the axe, the lieutenant was sliced wide open. Helmeppo quickly grabbed his head and screamed, "Ah! You didn't have to kill him," Helmeppo yelled. "Lieutenant!" All the Marines yelled and gathered around their leader.
It does not matter. The townsfolk must be taught respect. I'll handle it personally.
Captain Morgan said as blood dripped off the edge of the blade.
For years, I've labored to achieve this work, and I did it by my own strength at great personal cost. I was beholden by the darkness, born into it, and the rank means everything in this world to me. Remember that.
Captain Morgan gently caressed the edge of the blunt side of his axe and admired its blood-dripped blade.
My rank is the highest beyond this base, which makes me superior to everyone else here. That means everything I do is right. Is that clear?
Yes, sir! You are the greatest, sir! The whole entire crew stood at attention in a full salute.
This is a monument to my rank and power. It took years to build, but today it's finally complete.
And the entire crew raised up the statue with straining their legs, pain in their eyes.
Raise my statue, put it at the highest point of this fortress as a symbol of my greatness.
Meanwhile, at the entrance of the fortress, Luffy just stood and stared around, scratching his head through his hat. That's funny, dude. There aren't any sailors around here. He found himself alone completely. Maybe they're having a meeting or something. Luffy pondered. No one to help me find Solo's swords. Or the idiot's son. Heave! The soldiers screamed so loud. Heave! The statue was rising slowly up. Ah! Each and every one of them feeling the pain of their arms stretching out like being on a rack. And suddenly, the fingers touched the edge of the top of the building. Clink.
What was that? Did you just bump it?
Sorry, sir. We were careless, sir. The soldier said, looking back at him. Huh? Luffy looked way up at the top of the tower that says Marines. I think I hear voices up there. Alright. I'll just check it out. Luffy raised his leg up, lurched his arm back, and stretched. His arm reached as high as the sky, and quickly clamped onto the very edge of the tower's rooftop. Gun, rocket! And Luffy launches himself high into the air at high speed, with no end in sight. Meanwhile, Captain Morgan leaned close into the soldier's face with intimidating eyes.
Swine, do you know how long I've waited for this statue to be finished? And you've already scratched it?
Sorry, sir, the soldier said with sweat flying through his face. I'll pay to have it fixed, sir.
This statue is like my person. Scratching it is the same as attacking me.
Captain Morgan raised his axe up, ready for the swing.
Let this be a warning to all.
And suddenly, Luffy shot up into the air in full sight as the soldier screamed, "Ah!" And as Luffy began his descent, he screamed, "Whoa, I overshot." The soldiers looked up at Luffy in surprise. "What's that? He came from below." "Got it," Luffy said as he clenched onto the rope and pulled on it as the statue began to loosen up. Ah! The soldiers are slowly sliding as the statue begins to fall over, and it lands right onto the edge, splitting in half. "Wow," Luffy said, and all the soldiers collapsed onto the floor as the top half of the statue fall over to the ground below. Captain Morgan was frozen in shock. The soldiers were frozen in shock. Helmeppo was frozen in shock. Luffy was frozen in shock as the entire top half of the statue free fell right to the ground below to a loud thud. Luffy said as the bottom half of the statue laid flat on its back in front of Captain Morgan and all the soldiers. "Sorry." He raised his hand up. And that's when the crash occurs.
"Seize him! I'll have his heart!"
Captain Morgan roared, and all the soldiers in total fear and panic stood at attention with the salute. "Yes, sir! Aye, aye, sir!" "Daddy," Helmeppo said, pointing his finger out at Luffy. "That's the ruffian who hit me. If you had killed him, this would have never happened." "Hey, I've been looking for you." Luffy grabbed Helmeppo and pulled him away. "Let me go, father, help!" Helmeppo screamed out with his mouth wide open with a ball between his teeth. "He's entering the fortress," the soldier said. "Help me!" Helmeppo screamed as Luffy pulled him inside through the door. "Get him!" And all the soldiers charged through across the roof. "Captain, someone's on the parade grounds," said another soldier, looking outward below.
"What?"
Captain Morgan turned to his direction.
"All these rebels define me? Kill them all."
Down below, Kobe stood before Solo in the parade. Solo just keeping his head low, looking irritated. "Luffy went into the fortress? Why is he so reckless?" "Yeah, I've noticed. Who is he anyway?" Solo said, lifting his head up. "Hey, now you're being reckless," Solo said, looking at Kobe as Kobe removed the ropes from his arms. "If they catch you, free me. They'll kill you. They imprison you unfairly. I can't stand to see the Navy acting properly. There's no honor." With a scowling growling, his teeth gritting, and his eyes focused in anger. I'm going to be a proper sailor, just like Luffy's gonna be the king of the pirates. Ah. What? Solo screamed out. King of the pirates? Does he know what that means? Yeah, Kobe said with the sweat in his brow. I was shocked when he told me to, but he'll succeed or die trying. That's how he is. And suddenly there was a loud boom. Kobe got hit by something and was lurched back. His glasses flew into the air and came from the rooftop, where Captain Morgan stared down at them, and Zolo turned his head back and returned the glare. Meanwhile, inside the fortress, Luffy continues dragging Helmeppo across the hallway as the guards continue to chase him along. There he is, get him, said the guards. Where are Solo's swords? Luffy demanded. I'll tell you, Helmeppo screamed in panic. Just stop dragging me. I'm not a horse. To be continued. What we got here? Make your own original pirate flag. Oh, we did this again, but now they have other samples here. Avita's flag, Shank's flag, or you can make a baseball, a cook, and this mysterious one. Are these like a foreshadow? Are we gonna? Cause I know that in the live action there was the cook pirate. I forgot his name. I completely forgot his name. The one the actor looked like Gordon Ramsay and sounded like Gordon Ramsay, but it wasn't Gordon Ramsay. My man Sanji teamed up with, I guess these are all foreshadows. That'd be interesting to see. I wonder if there's a baseball pirate. And okay, that's to be continued. So, oh my gosh, this was pretty fun. It really got to the point. A great introduction to Captain Morgan. Like, that's a really nice establishing shot there of Captain Morgan just sitting there and screaming, "I'm so great!" Just get us right to his personality immediately. I did my best to make a Bane voice out of Captain Morgan, but unfortunately I forgot the mother and the daughter's name. Unfortunately, so sadly enough, that's what we would call a blooper. Yeah, I forgot that I was gonna do Bane's voice for Captain Morgan because he's got the mask on, so. Or at least my best Bane voice possible. But this was a great introduction. Normally when you do something like that, it would always be like quiet and such. But instead, they just went with bodacious, like so narcissistic. They didn't get that in the live action. I don't think. I'll have to take a look at that. But that's a very interesting take he has over here, where he says that he doesn't hit his son because his son was not worth hitting. Let's see here. Yeah, people who defy him. So since Helmeppo never defies his father, he never had a reason to hit him, despite the fact that his screaming did hit Helmeppo, which was funny. We get to see the Marines. I was a little shocked though in the beginning chapters when they were referred to as the Navy, because in the live action they were just referred exclusively as Marines. So it looks like they're interchanging between Navy and Marines. But the thing is that I don't know if he came up with that idea from here in the U.S. military, because here in the U.S. military, the Marines and the Navy kind of go hand in hand. Even though the Marines is its own branch of service, they work with the Navy with any type of aquatic operations and such. So they usually more closely so they're more closer to the Navy than than the other armed services like the army or the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard is like its own thing. They don't. They're not even with the Navy, I believe. That, but if I remember correctly, the Coast Guard is its own thing, like independent. But usually the Marines will work in tandem with the Navy. So it's very interesting to see that that Navy and Marines are being used in this manner. Um, yeah, the narcissism of Captain Morgan. I'm surprised that they didn't even go there with that because with the whole statue thing. But press for time. It's live action. They're covering this whole entire arc that I'm reading here in live action. Um, Another good another good show of how Luffy utilizes his powers. Not many shonen really do that. I usually most shonen that I've seen time to time, they never show them using it in a utility manner like this here, where Luffy uses it to get himself up a cliff, or in this case, up a building. Usually, they just keep their powers relegated to combat and action orientation all the time. So this is actually a great treat, a great way to further establish that Luffy isn't just going to be another punchy shonen protagonist, like most shonen protagonists tend to be a punchmeister. Here he's going to be using his powers in other ways, and that's going to be interesting to see as it goes on how he really utilizes it more than just beyond this here. I'm very curious. It's going to be real fun. Um, yeah, in terms of establishing the Marines, they're very well organized, but then again, they're operating under fear of getting beaten up by Captain Morgan and getting shot. But it really shows the corruption. But not only that, but it does show that the Marines still have a sense of honor, and that's just only Captain Morgan that's the issue, him and his son, because the Marines did not want to shoot an innocent child. They really didn't want, even on his orders, and the lieutenant paid for it. So what's good about that story wise is that it shows that the Marines and the Navy are not 100% evil in any way, but that there is some level of corruption going on. And if it's anything like in the live action, then I'm sure they're gonna delve even more further, which I'm very excited to see in the manga, how that was portrayed in the manga, the whole corruption angle, and that the world isn't so black and white. Aside from the fact that it's drawn in black and white. um, I'm not. It's taking a little too long here to get Solo out of this, but I'm sure in the next chapter he'll break free. But I'm hoping this doesn't go for like 5 chapters, where Solo's just like this. He just stays like this for the whole entire mini arc here, which will be funny. But Luffy is very persistent. It's very in line with what he's becoming. It's like, you're gonna be a pirate whether you like it or not. I'm Shanghaiing you. The artwork is still good. It's been very consistent. Really love like right here with the statue of Morgan. It looks like it's already cracking. It's already showing signs of cracking, and I think that's great. That was established there, because then when it did happen, oh, that was his crotch. I thought that was a crack. That's actually, wow. What attention to detail there. One attention to detail there, Oda, that the statue would include his zipper. I thought that was a crack. It's actually the zipper of the pants. That is such great attention to detail. Great job on that one. Oh my gosh, and just gotta enjoy the narcissism on that one. Although it's very interesting how impractical Morgan's when you see up here Morgan's axe arm, because this thing is jutting out and you need your arm to stretch out. So, and you can't have your elbow sticking out like that. It's pretty weird. So pretty much this was a pretty fast chapter, and this was pretty good. it's really ramping up very well. The pacing is nice and smooth. Especially the transitions between the two scenes here. This was actually very well done. I very seamless, like jumping back and forth between this incident and Kobe with Zolo, and then look how quickly they jump over here. Oda jumped right into a third scene, which is Luffy dragging Helmeppo along. The fact that he got that to seamlessly jump from, you can see it right here perfectly. These three panels of being on the roof. Then we got Kobe down here with Zolo and their dialogue. Then we get the zoom in back up to the roof with the two Zolo and Morgan glaring, and then just suddenly jump right into it, right into Luffy running through the hallway. That was actually very, very smooth. That was a pretty excellent scene jumping. So yeah, oh my gosh, this was another good chapter. Can't wait for chapter 5, which will be next week. Very can't wait to see some of these other pirates, not just Elvita's pirate, more of Elvita's pirates, but the pirates that I saw in the live action. But we got to get past this, which now I'm very curious because Nami should be showing up at this point, but then again I'm going by live action, so it'll be interesting to see when Nami shows up, at what point, and what she really does in the manga as opposed to the live action. So hot dang, man. This is really fun. Luffy's personality, like nothing phases him, and yet he still maintains a good. He's very well grounded. He's very well grounded. He's happy go lucky until he sees until you see something that ain't cool, and this character is really good. Man, I like that. He's probably gonna end up being the best shonen protagonist I've seen since Yusuke Urameshi in Yu Yu Hakusho. So, all right, all right, everybody. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Share your thoughts on what you think about chapter 4. Next week I will begin covering 2 chapters, chapter 5 and chapter 6, moving forward at a time. So the chapters went by very quick. I thought this was like 24 pages, but this actually lasted 19 pages. So that's good. I got that means that it's gonna move a little faster now. So hopefully I could be able to do 2 chapters at a time, starting next week. So yeah, excellent. Hot dang, man. And also stay tuned for for my first expanded manga. First manga I'm gonna expand to. I don't know when, but stay tuned. Stay tuned. And make sure to support the releases of the mangaka. They do a great job here. So, with all that said, thank you all for joining me, and I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oisuminasai.